Hi, you guys. How's it going? All right. Let me get things set up here so that you can see me. Welcome. Welcome to Module 2 of the Sacred Chakras Journey. I'm so excited that you are here. I can see Katie. I can see Hannah. And we're going to see who else is going to be able to join us live. All right, and while we just give it a couple of minutes, it's good to see that you can make it live. We have so many fun things to chat about tonight. So I am excited, and I'm excited to see all of your guys' progress and your adventures out in the cosmos and everything that you're experiencing. It's been fun to watch and to help you. So thank you for sharing. And I know that you've had lots of questions, so we'll try and go over some of that tonight. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. And I am going to start with my palo. So if you guys have a candle or if you have palo, I always like to start just kind of bringing in the good vibes with Palo Santo or with incense. And I always light a candle because it's symbolic for starting something. And so we're just starting something. And as we start this beautiful module 2, let's all take a deep breath in together. And exhale. And let's take a moment to really tune in and to run our energy. Let's see, Alex is joining us. Let's see if anybody else is joining us. Okay, we'll start tuning in and welcome. We'll start tuning in. So for everybody that's joining, this is Module 2, welcome, of the Sacred Chakras Journey. I'm so excited that you guys are here. So we're going to start by tuning in and just running our energy so that we can get centered. And we're going to take a deep breath in, close our eyes, lengthen and straighten our spine, rub our palms together, and exhale. And then inhale, hold the breath at the top, squeeze the energy up from your root chakra all the way up to your crown chakra. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. And exhale. And we're going to keep our eyes closed. We're going to breathe in. And we're going to breathe into our heart center. We're going to feel our heartbeat, and you can put your hands on your heart. If that makes it easier for you to tune in, you can put your left first and then your right over your left. Breathing into your heartbeat, and then breathing down all the way down to your feet, activating the chakras underneath your feet. Locking on to the light grid, feeling that magnetic connection, imagining that you are really just connected to this grid of light that is all over our planet Earth. And it's golden light. And it has a little green and a little pink in it. As of today, this is a new change. So we are shifting. And then we're breathing back up. We're coming back to our body. Let's breathe behind our eyes. Turn your gaze in and up, activating your third eye point. And then find yourself dancing at the top of your crown chakra, activating the chakra pillar and the cosmic connection. And then with your breath, as you exhale, breathe yourself up. Just establish the connection, kind of dusting that chimney. Just send your light and your breath up, and then come back with your breath, just kind of, we're sending like an impulse, like, hey, we're opening things up. And then we're coming back, finding ourselves behind our eyes, and then back into our heart. And that just feels so much better now that we are connected and that we are tuned in. And this is kind of what we do in the morning. And you can do this very quickly anytime. And especially right now with this energy that's going a little crazy because we have so much cosmic stuff going on. And it's really important because remember we talked about the eclipse. During the eclipse, what happened is we kind of got exposed to that oneness, that 5D oneness. And so now it's like we all became more empathic. We all became more susceptible to picking up other people's feelings and emotions. It's like we catch them like right along as we walk. And so we want to make sure that we are very much in charge of our own energy, in charge of where we are, in charge of our frequency, and we are staying connected and tuned in and in the exchange of light so that we don't lose ourselves out there, so that our aura is strong, so that our chakra pillar is strong. So you guys have had so much fun. We've had so much fun with the lunar eclipse and with the ritual and the meditations. You guys have gone amazing places, and I am so excited. So today we are talking about all the other chakras that are in between our crown chakra and our cosmic gateway chakra, where Archangel Michael is, where we've been used to kind of landing up at the top of the elevator. In this week's module, you will have a meditation to access the Akashic records, which is super exciting. This is where the Earth's library of knowledge is. This is where our soul's records are. This is where you're going to find your past lives, where you're going to find out who your team is in terms of your spiritual team, where you can go and ask for help regarding any specific area of your life, and you get to be received there and welcomed. And it's kind of like the place where your soul decided, this is the journey that I want to take, and these are my challenges. These are the things that, yes, I am going to do this, and yes, sign me up for that. And it's all recorded there. So it's really cool to be able to go access it. One of the things that we're going to be talking about, since you guys are going to have the meditation, and I go in detail on how you can go all the way up and access it. So we're going to talk about not just going, but also integrating it. And what does that mean? Because especially these days, we get a lot of activation just by the cosmic movements, let's say the planetary movements. We get a lot of activations of our DNA, a lot of upgrades, a lot of changes that are happening inside of our DNA, inside of our body. This is why we have those ascension symptoms that are like the headaches and the tiredness and everything else. And so how do we integrate it when we actually receive these, and how do we translate it? What does it mean, right? When we have a headache, what does that mean? And what's the information that we're trying to get incoming? So we are going to go over this, and we are going to talk about connecting to our higher self and all the higher planes, which you guys have been doing an amazing job. I'm so proud of you guys because all of you have been able to establish the connection and doing really great. So if you look, I have put this in the portal, in the course portal on the website, and it's also posted in the Facebook group. And this is the updated reference sheet with all of the archangels. So far we have talked and met Archangel Azrael, which is down at the Earth Star chakra, and then Archangel Raziel, and then also in transit, right, working with other archangels, we've worked with Archangel Metatron and Archangel Michael. So this week, we are going to be working specifically with Archangel Uriel. Archangel Uriel is connected to our 12th chakra. This is the universal gateway chakra. And his light is pale yellow and silver. So if you ever see those kind of flashes of colors around, or just the auras, this is how you know that it's Uriel. And he is the Archangel of Wisdom. So I made some notes, obviously, here on the side to remind you, and they are just really keywords on how to connect. But his name means God's light. He was the wise one. And when he was on, he's the one that illuminates situations. So if ever you're wanting to find the truth about something, if there's something that kind of doesn't sit right with you and there's a situation that you're trying to decipher, he's the one to call on, and he'll help you understand, just shine light on it and see, who's right, who's wrong per se, or both sides of the coin. And he is just the Archangel of Truth. So he just brightens everything. One way that he's amazing is he's amazing in many ways, but one way that he's amazing is that he helps us, and he's our escort when we go to the Akashic records. And so we work with him and we connect with him. He's also the Archangel that helps with the weather. So this is really fun, but if you guys want to test him out, and I'm not saying this in I'm not saying this use at your own discretion, but if you have something important that's coming up, like a family trip or an excursion or something, and you're worried about the weather, okay, put in a request with Archangel Uriel and just ask him, Archangel Uriel, and he needs about 48 to 72 hour notice. I know it's kind of funny, but I've tested this out, and that's where the sweet spot is. So if you can give him some notice, then he'll make sure that the weather is right for you. And it's really fun, but it works. It really does work. And so just put in a request and ask him, Archangel Uriel, we're going on this camping trip. I am really looking forward to having this connection time. Can you please work on the weather to be at this temperature, at this degree, and make it as specific as you'd like? And he'll help you with that. So that's one of the fun things that he's in charge of. And then he's also in charge of prophetic guidance. So right now, a lot of you and a lot of us are having dreams that are more than dreams. They're dreams that are coming through with a whole lot more, and you're getting visions and you're seeing things that then become true. So he's kind of there to help decipher. It makes sense that he would help with, escort us to the Akashic records, because he is the one that helps us to read and understand. Okay. So we're working with him. And we are also working with Archangel Jeremiah, who is at our stellar gateway, which is just 2 up above our crown, okay, the 11th chakra. And Jeremiah, I always confuse him with Raphael because they have a similar feeling to them, and then they laugh at me, but Jeremiah is eggplant purple kind of color, really dark, and his name means mercy of God. And he is the one that when we are moving on from this life and on to the next, he is the life review guy. So he's the one that will help us determine, did we meet our goals? Did we do the job that we were, set out to do? Did we go according to our own plan, so on and so forth. And so whenever we need to make changes in our lives, like some of you were asking, about changing beliefs and reprogramming things, he's the one, he's the guy, Archangel Jeremiah. So you can ask him for help to review and reprogram. And so to just kind of relate, in that sense of let's look at this situation. Is there something that I can let go? And how can I rewrite it? How can I get on the other side of it? I'd like to make this adjustment. And so he'll help you. And he's also one that helps with psychic dreams and the interpretations of them. So if you have dreams that you can't make sense out of, a lot of people right now are having nightmares, which are really just psychic dreams. It's our subconscious talking to us so loudly. Why in nightmares? Because you're not going to ignore a nightmare. If you have a dream that's just a regular dream and it's kind of weird, then you're going to be like, okay, that was weird. But if you have a nightmare, then it's bound to kind of catch more of your attention. And now, just because you interpret it as a nightmare from this standpoint, it doesn't mean that it was necessarily negative. So you want to go into it and actually take a look at the different components and what they mean. And once you kind of step into it, then it's not as bad as you generally think. And it's a message from your subconscious. Everything is a message to your subconscious. I can guarantee you that every single nightmare, just from doing dream interpretations, every single nightmare always has a positive message to bring back to the subconscious. We just have to kind of extract it out. Okay, so how do we do this? Oh, Archangel Jeremiah also helps with clairvoyance. Okay, so how do we connect with these guys, and and how do we decode these messages? So whenever we want to connect with the angels, okay, we want to just run our energy, and then we go into our heart, and then we want to expand from our heart. We want to expand into our aura, magnify our field, our magnetic field in a pattern kind of like the flower of life, okay? So we want to expand it, we want to expand it. And then from our heart, we call the archangels or the angels, and we connect with them this way through the heart. So we build a bridge and we invite them to come and connect with us. So we can call them in, and we're also going to call in Archangel Sandalphon. So we're going to work with 3 different guys tonight. And Archangel Sandalphon, he is the guy at the Earth Gateway. He is, believe it or not, Archangel Metatron's twin brother. They are the only ones that don't have EL at the end of the archangel name. It's Metatron and then Sandalphon, which is really interesting. But they were both prophets when they were on Earth, and now they have the 1st and the 13th chakra. So they're like the beginning and the end, which I think is really interesting of the realms that we work with and that we have access to. So Sandalphon's job, his energy is turquoise, and he is at the he guards the passage of through dimensions and through the other world as well as Archangel Azrael. He does that. And so because they're both on the Earth star chakras. And Sandalphon is responsible for bringing our prayers to God and making sure that they are answered. So he's kind of like a messenger, but he does it in such a way that is so elegant that he's also known as the musical archangel. So a lot of times, if you have a prayer in your heart and there's something that you really are looking for, and you're looking for an answer, and then a song pops in your head, pay attention, because that's Archangel Sandalphon answering. And he's very good at communicating. So once you establish that connection, he'll kind of just gently bring thoughts around a few times, or he'll bring them in the form of songs, which is really fun, because then if you have a song out of the blue, pay attention and see if there's a message in it, because more likely than not, it is Archangel Sandalphon, unless you just passed by someone on the street and you picked up their thought frequency and it was a song. But the way to know is to just see if there's a message in it. And if you've been asking a question, then that's when you want to look at it. Okay. So we're going to connect with them and just kind of feel them out. And so I want for you guys to just practice extending out from your heart. And this is another way that we travel through the unseen realms, is through the flower of life, which is really a pattern of expansion in a circular motion. Okay. So we expand this way very circularly, and it's like a seed. So it just keeps growing and growing and growing. And so let's go ahead and take a breath in and close our eyes and connect into our heart. Breathe into your heart. And imagine from your heart a bridge of golden light that expands out. And it expands into your aura, kind of like if you had feelers that are growing into your aura. And then we're going to invite in our angels, Archangel Uriel, Archangel Jeremiah, Archangel Sandalphon. We invite you to join us. We give you permission to communicate with us as we are going through this course today, and as we ask for assistance in all the days to come. Thank you guys for showing up for us and connecting with us. And from this place, just keep on feeling. Imagine feeling from your heart, like if you had tentacles from your heart, okay? And see if you notice anything in the energy around you. See if you notice anything happening, if you notice any sparkles, if you notice any air blows, any tinglies, if you notice ringing in your ears, or if you're seeing any kind of colors or flashes. So Archangel Sandalphon would like to tell us that when we are connecting with him, and remind us that when we are connecting with him, and when we drop our consciousness and breathe ourselves down, all the way down, and sync up with the heartbeat of the universe, this is where he is. So this is where we find him. And this is the turquoise light that is also being infused now in the grid of light that is around the planet. Mm-hmm. Archangel Jeremiah is connecting with us. Actually, you may feel a little pressure right now on your third eye because he helps to illuminate, so to see. And so they're just giving us ways that you can kind of tune in and connect with them. So Archangel Sandalphon, you can connect with your heartbeat, and then you can receive the messages through music. And then Archangel Uriel, you can connect through your third eye. Sorry, sometimes they all talk at the same time. Okay. And you can connect with your third eye because he is the illuminating. He helps you see beyond the unseen. And Archangel Jeremiah, kind of, if you open your eyes and if you see around you, it kind of looks like you can see the particles of air that are alive. And it's really kind of a weird feeling. It's like you're seeing the static in the air. A lot of times that's him. And so, and he's helping you develop your senses, your clairvoyance, and helping you to actually see more with your physical eyes and kind of tune into it. So, and he's really bright. So if you see flashes of light, sometimes we see them and they're really dark. That's him, and you can kind of not really catch the color, but it's eggplant purple, and that's him. And so he kind of flashes that way. Okay. So when you are looking for help with any of those specific areas, you can call on them. And I don't want to give you guys too much detailed information because I think it's important. There's so much information out there that you can get overwhelmed. But if you know what to connect with them for, then you start to establish that exchange, and then you become more familiar with them and more familiar with them, and then you can keep working with them and going beyond, and then they teach you, and then they take it over from there, and they just kind of teach you. So the way to connect with the higher archangels is to do that kind of pulse and really just pulse your light out of your crown chakra. You don't have to go all the way up, and you don't really have to travel all the way to the 13th gateway like we do when we kind of navigate through the cosmos, but just kind of send that pulse, kind of send that impulse. It's kind of like a signal, right? And then intend for them and just call them in. Call them in and they will work with you. So how is this helpful in terms of daily life? Because we want to be able to have the help of the archangels to actually help with everyday circumstances. So you can be in constant communication with them if you'd like, or you can ask them for help with specific things. My suggestion is to begin with one thing. So if you have one particular thing, decide one archangel to work with, one angel to work with, and then you're going to have an easier time understanding who it is. Because if you ask 3 or 4 or 5 of them different questions, and you may not see who's answering. So see if you can maybe focus on one per day, or depending on, how long you need to focus and work with them. So when we are working with the Library of Knowledge, the Earth's Library of Knowledge, so we're back up to working with the Akashic records, okay? And in this channel of light that we work with all these guys, and we have so much assistance, how does that help with our DNA? So just like we are born on this planet through earthly parents, and we inherit financial status, we inherit health situation, we inherit many things. We also inherit beliefs. And beliefs are passed down, and they're kind of encoded in our DNA. The same way that we were talking about how our chakras record, and they record and they play back the situations that happen in our life, and kind of they end up just basically conditioning the way that we handle certain circumstances. So we actually are born with a certain set of values that are coming down in our lineage through the blood. Lucky us. That's why a lot of times when we do emotional work, when we do spiritual work, our ancestors like to come around and to stick around and to receive the value of that, because it's almost like they're balls and chains that are emotional, and that have held our ancestors and our family line back throughout the years, and they couldn't break them. And so you hear the term that we are the chain breakers, because this is the generation that's actually awakening, that's waking up to be able to break those chains and to release the karmic bloodlines out of these patterns. So one of the examples, and we can kind of pick up any examples about this DNA reprogramming, but one of the things is like a belief of, let's just say, a belief of not being good enough, because that's very kind of applicable to a lot of things. So if you have a belief of not being good enough, or if you guys want one, have anything that's kind of coming up for you and you want me to work with that, go ahead and put it in the chat so that I can see it. So when we have a belief that's kind of coming up, like, I can't do this, or, I'm worried that if I do this, I'll go to hell or whatever. I don't know that we have that anymore, because our generation, I think, has kind of worked through, the heaven and hell. But, sometimes you still feel guilty and you don't know where that comes from. And it can come from your ancestors and the way that they lived their life. And it all got transferred to you, and you didn't have to do anything. You came here and you were born into battles, to be fought. So when you realize it and you're like, oh my gosh, this is affecting me. This is affecting me. I believe that I'm not good enough. For example, I believe that I'm not good enough to have a private jet. Let's just shoot for the moon, right? Oh, here is one. Let's see, Hannah. None of this work will matter or change anything. Okay, that's a good belief. So a belief is true as long as you hold it to be true. Okay, so if you believe that that is true, then in your reality, it is true. If you believe that that has no importance and that, of course, everything that you do is absolutely 100% valuable and necessary and for your greater good, then that's how it is. Because our world and our reality is so because we say that it is. So, for example, to illustrate further, you know, the people that have a really, like, they, you know, their life is really chaotic and they really stress out, and then it's like, oh my gosh, and I have all this stress and I have all this drama, but you know, like things work out, and then I have to have, like, they cause themselves all this stress in order to feel like they are doing something of importance, because if they're not stressed out, then they don't believe it's important, right? So if they backed it up on another plane, right, they can still be doing things that are important. They just don't have to stress out about it. And so it's the way that they choose to see it. And so in your case, it's the way that you choose to see it. And so we definitely want to rewire that. You want to reprogram that belief, because otherwise you're invalidating the thing as you're doing it. And so there's no way for it to stick. So as your chakras are wanting to rewrite, it's not rewrite. It's just penciling it in and then it gets erased. Does that make sense? It's kind of like it's getting penciled in, but it's not sticking because it doesn't have a place to land. There's no belief that actually says it is so because I say that it is so. So, and this may be something that you developed, or it may be something that you picked up from your parents. And maybe these are things that kind of, you know, happen in our childhood too. And one of the big beliefs has to do with money, right? We have beliefs that happen around money all the time, or the kind of house that we deserve, or the kind of money that we should be spending on things. And, you know, it causes us a belief of self-worth. And, you know, like we shouldn't be spending money on things that we don't need. How many of us have heard that, right? What defines something that we need? You define something that you need. You define something that you want, and you define if you want to feel good about that thing or not. The worst possible thing that you could do is buy something for yourself and feel guilty about it, because that reinforces that belief that you shouldn't have it and that it wasn't a good idea. And then that energy stays in motion, right? So Hannah, for you, you want to make sure that you rewire that thought and that belief saying, of course, this work is going to change things. And I see that happening every day in my life. I wake up happier. I do, you know, this and this and this. I have a way of dealing with things. I have a way of accessing my higher self. Whatever it is that you are starting to see that is true for you, make a list of those things. That's how you kind of start to reprogram it. Okay. So, and this is a great example. So if you wanted to do that, you can literally journal this out. And this is the beginning of the reprogramming, because you're aware that you have this, and then you have to go and find, it's kind of like you become a detective. You want to go find the supporting evidence. What evidence do you have that none of this work matters, right? Or what evidence do you have to the contrary? And then what you want to do is you want to expand on the evidence of the contrary. Because is it ultimately true that anything that's happened one time that was negative proves that that is the ultimate truth? No, it's not. You decide what's ultimately true for you. You decide your level of worth. You decide your level of value. You decide the level at which you want to play the game of life. So you want to start finding positive supporting things that have happened, and then you expand them. So for example, from, you know, this belief, I remember that one time where I did this work and then coincidentally this thing happened and then everything worked out, right? Or, and I'm going to use, I'm trying to think if there's any examples from the group that have happened. But there's many times that, you know, people start, for example, their day and they've had a bad day, and then they take the time to pause, to tune in, to meditate, and then all of a sudden their day turns around. And it's like, well, you could attribute that to the fact that you did a meditation, or you could just say, well, that's random. You know, oh, well, you know, it probably was going to happen anyways. So when you do that stuff, it invalidates things. So you want to stop that kind of talk, and you want to start the positive reinforcement. Like, hey, oh my gosh, look at that. I remember that one time I did the meditation and then my day changed. I remember that one time I took a moment to really think and pause on it and to journal, and then it all makes sense and this light bulb went off, and then from there I did all these other things. Now what happens in our world is that we're not usually used to recognizing the good things that we do. We're used to looking at how many times we screw up, but we're not used to looking at the good stuff. And so in order to reprogram, we need to focus on the good stuff. And that doesn't mean that we don't make mistakes, because we're incarnated on a human planet. Of course, we're going to make mistakes, right? We're human. Things happen. But we always have the ability to come back. So we always have the ability to turn it around, to come back, and from a bad day to make it a good day. And the more you practice this, and the more you practice turning things on to the way that you want them to be, then the easier it becomes. And the easier becomes to find proof that that is true and that that is accurate. So journaling and affirming is a great way of doing this, okay? And then another way that you can do this, once you decide that you want to rewire that belief, I'm going to take a sip of water really quick. Is that helpful, Hannah, on that belief? Ask me if you have any other questions on it, because I want to make sure that we go through the entire process.
Yeah, so it was helpful. I'm doing two different sort of things, if that makes sense. One's working directly, like connecting directly with your higher self to kind of heal your beliefs, any body issues, stuff like that. So as you were saying that, because I was kind of having a moment at the beginning of the session as well as all day, but especially like this last probably hour and a half. So I just kind of took the time to start asking what the root belief was, like what the truth of that belief is, what age it showed up, why it's there. So I've been working on that. So yeah, it's helpful. I'll probably explore the other methods with other beliefs, but right now I'm like, I just have to deal with this right now because it's overwhelming me.
Yeah. And that's good. And so you don't want to do other things. So thanks for coming on. So you don't need to necessarily, get overwhelmed with it, but just kind of go deep with it. And then when you find out, and then when you say, oh my gosh, it started when I was this age and my mom always used to tell me this, and then I believed it, right? So for example, the first time that I ever sang, my parent, if this is just an example, but if my parents told me that I had a horrible voice, it doesn't matter. If I believed them, then I would never sing again, right? Because it becomes a belief system. And so down the road, then you're shy, you don't want to sing, you don't want to karaoke, you don't ever want to sing the tune to the radio because you don't even know where it comes from. But somewhere in your childhood, there's this belief that got thrown in, and you took it and you believed it. In that book, The Four Agreement, that is called black magic. Words have the power to have black magic, because in the moment that I tell you something and it's something negative, you have a choice. You can take it in or you can reject it. If you take it in, it's like a spell. It's like black magic. You accept it. It becomes part of your consciousness. You're screwed to make it light, meaning like, and you keep running that belief. You keep running that belief in the background. It's the, record that's like, oh, whatever, don't do that. You don't want to do a singing competition. No, you don't want to do that talent show. No, you're not going to do that. Oh my gosh, like quit, don't sing to the radio on your first date. That's not going to go well. That kind of stuff. And it keeps kind of running you. But when you realize it and you do the work and you go back to it and, and you take a moment and you feel it and you go within it, okay? There's generally a fear that's associated with going to that place. And you have to get good at actually dropping down into your emotions, connecting to your heart and actually feeling through that, because we're not going to die feeling through a fear. Does that make sense? Like, we need to make it safe. Like, it's safe for me to feel my fear and get past it and go through it and burn through it and feel through it. Raw Goddess, this amazing woman who was a mentor and a coach to Gabby Bernstein, New York Times bestseller, said that if you have the courage, if you can feel a fear and a feeling for 90 seconds and just be in it, be with your fear, feel it, it will disappear. And it's actually a very powerful way. In 90 seconds to be with your fear, it's rough. But if you do it and if you step in it and you can cry it out and you can, punch a pillow if you need to, like if you get really intense with it, allow yourself to express it through your body, right? And just emotionally allow it to just dissipate and to just kind of work itself out, because on the other side of the fear, then you can actually deal with that belief and you can rewire it. You can reinstall it with a higher belief. So once you identify what it is and what it was from childhood, and then you let that go, okay? And I'm saying this in a way that sounds really easy, but basically you say, okay, I remember, oh my gosh, I can't believe my mother told me that. And you have this emotional reaction to it. Like, I can't believe that. And I went my entire life, thinking that I couldn't do this. Oh, holy cuss words, right? Like, blah, 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 blah. I can't believe that. I can't believe it. And so you go through the resentment and the guilt, go through the feelings, whatever comes out. This is where it's important to honor your feelings, and so that you can, allow yourself that safe, sacred space to just go through. And this is often how energetically we have dislocated. It's like a piece of our soul died, right? In that moment where we decided to listen to mom that said, I have a horrible voice. And so it was like, oh, I have a horrible voice. And then you have this like inward motion thing and your soul cringes. It's like a little piece of your soul, a little spark went on over here because it was dislocated, because you were not in your truth anymore. You were not in alignment. When the moment that you believed that, you were not in true alignment. And so when you're not in your truth, then you lose power. When you lose power, then you start developing negative self-talk, negative self-belief, and so on, and all of these rewiring. So once you identify what it is, then you want to say, okay, I believe my mom. Is this belief ultimately true? Is this really the way I want to live the rest of my life? Do I want to rewrite that? Do I want to change it? And when you get to that point, that's where you need to summon up the courage and the power that comes from being connected, okay? When you get to that point of dealing with something that has been emotional, you take it to the higher realms and you pull in the vibration that you want. So you request it and you go for the angelic assistance. This is the thing that a lot of people don't do. And so what happens is you deal with your problems or you deal with your beliefs, and then you feel through it and you release it, but you don't have light to replace it. You don't reintegrate that spark of your soul that had left at one point. And that's what you want to do. You want to bring that back in. You want to make sure that you get yourself aligned again, right? So let's go up to the Akashic Records. We're going to do this a little bit later, but let's do it now because it's a good way to do it. So think about something, since we're here, think about something that you would like to reprogram and pick. I mean, if you're dealing with something particularly, that you're in the middle of, that's come up through this course and that you're wanting to rewire and that you're wanting to reprogram, let's take it on and let's see how we go. Now be aware that sometimes for the bigger ones. And, you know, if it's something that's been like a lifelong, you know, journey of dealing with it, it may take you a few times of going up. Okay. But this is how it goes, and this is where it starts, and then you can take some more time. Okay. So I'm going to take another sip of water. And let me see if I have any additional guidance that would serve the best here so that we can experience this. Okay, so ultimately, a belief makes you feel a certain way. There's a feeling attached to it. So find that belief and find the feeling that's attached to it. And then what we want to do is we're going to go up and we're going to install, we're going to request the opposite, right? So that kind of come down in light. Does that make sense to you guys? So they're able to do it. Okay, good. Hannah, thank you. Okay, so we want to, for example, let's stay with our example that we're dealing with the voice, just so that you guys understand how this works, right? So if my mom told me when I was little that my voice was horrible, then I have a belief that I am not good enough to go on a stage. I'm not good enough to sing. You know, that my voice is horrible. And it's probably caused me a complex in speaking up because it has to do with my throat, right? And so I feel discouraged. I feel not confident. And that's really the feeling that I would like to change, is it has cost me my confidence. So I want to reprogram confidence. Now I want confidence. I want that dropped into my DNA. I want non-confidence gone. I want confidence to come in. Does that make sense to you guys? It's kind of like the feeling that's attached to it. So, and you might just start with an emotion, like, you know, you feel like you don't know how to do something. Maybe you feel shy. You want to reprogram shy. Maybe you feel like blocked in manifesting something that you want. And so you want to resolve that. And instead of being blocked, being in the flow, being open, right? So find the opposite, find the 180 to it. And that's the feeling that we want to bring down straight from the top. Okay, so everybody kind of get an idea, and you can always just do this with something that sounds good. So if you don't have one identified right now, you can pick something that sounds really good to have more confidence, right? So, but when you do it attached to a belief, it's powerful because it drops into where that belief is going to get kicked out. So it's kind of like Tetris. This comes in and the other stuff gets out. So, okay, let's take a deep breath in. And exhale. And let's just take a couple of deep breaths and drop into our heart. And then we're going to drop down into our feet. Make sure that we have our connection strong on the light grid. And let's connect all the way down to Sandalphon, to the Earth Gateway. So imagine that you are locking down to where there is turquoise light, and you're syncing your heartbeat with the heartbeat of the universe that is actually synced with the heartbeat of the Earth. And then you come back up, breathing back up your light. All the way up, find yourself at your feet, your knees, pulling it up to your heart again, behind your eyes, and up to the crown of your head. And now from here, we're going to invite Archangel Michael and Archangel Uriel to come and escort us And so, Michael, we invite you in. Uriel, we invite you in. We give you permission to keep us safe and protected as we travel to the Akashic Records and the Earth's Library of Knowledge to receive an upgrade. Thank you, guys. Okay, so, and just kind of expand, as you invite them, just kind of expand from your heart and feel it out and see if you can feel them around, okay? And so from here, you can do this one of two ways. You can just breathe yourself out. When you're working with Archangel Michael, you can just, he's protection. So you can breathe yourself up, all the way up through your chakra pillar, because we're staying within the chakra pillar, so we don't need to unlock the gravity. But if it's easier for you to spin yourself up, then you can imagine spinning. You can imagine being in the eye of the storm, going counterclockwise from left to right and going all the way up and creating the vortex of light all around you. And then breathe in deeply, and as you exhale, you push yourself up. You push your consciousness up. You're going up through the chakra pillar, through our glass elevator of light, and we're going up until we get to the 12th floor. And it may take a couple of breaths as you breathe out, just push and push, and it just really looks like you're in this column of light. And you're surrounded. Archangel Michael's on our right and Archangel Uriel's on the left, but they can come to you in different ways. And when we get to the 12th floor, we're going to stop, and you're just going to feel a stop, like you've reached the ding elevator floor. And the Akashic Records are on the right. So we're going to get off of our floor and we're going to just go to the right. And imagine like you are going into like a penthouse suite that has the elevator connected to it. And as soon as you walk in, there's 3 steps that take you down into this beautiful, magnificent living room that is really ancient. And it looks like a library out of the most beautiful movie you've ever seen. And just there's scrolls and it smells like leather and it's light and it's brilliant. And you just by being there, you can feel the wisdom. That's what it feels like to go to the Akashic Records. And it's just, you can't see the ceiling because it's just, there's so many records. And it looks like the books are of that ancient leather. That's kind of what it looks like to me. And there's scrolls. And then when you walk in, as you look on your left side, there is the council. There is a council here at the Akashic Records, and they guard the information. And Uriel is our escort. So Uriel is with us. And so we find ourselves in front of the council, and this is where we ask for a new belief. We ask for a new feeling. We ask for a new program. We can ask for just about anything. But let's start with a feeling or something that you want to reprogram that is small. Keep in mind that what you're asking is going to come down as a software download. So your system is going to be integrating this, okay? So you don't want to make it too huge, like something that has been, a super huge deal of your life. So we'll take it in increments, okay? So we can also define it very well. So we can say, Council, thank you so much for having me today. And they kind of look like these guys. They're all sitting down at the table and they have these hoods on. And sometimes their hoods look kind of dark. And at first it would really like weird me out that they were wearing like a mantle that was not super white. But the reason why is because their light is so bright that they would blind us. And so it's kind of like a way for them to not shine so much, especially because there's 12 of them. And so it's a lot of light. So sometimes they kind of, it's like a grayish kind of a color that that they use. So we ask them, and a lot of these guys are like the prophets that were in ancient times written of in the Bible, by the way. So they're very wise. They have their own history, and they're really cool, and they're really friendly. So, council, we are looking to reprogram a belief today. Each one of us comes before you asking for a download, for an upgrade, for a new belief to be installed, to be a part of us, to be uploaded, upgraded, integrated directly into our DNA, into our physical body, into our mind, and in all the 10 light bodies of consciousness. And now you can take a moment to ask for exactly what it is that you would like. And they may be standing up. Just kind of take a moment to feel it around and see if you can picture the scene of this table where they're sitting at, and you're kind of making a request, and ask for whatever it is that you would like to receive. And they're symbolically, they always suggest that when it's your first time, that you can actually hold out your hands like you are receiving a gift, so that you can feel it energetically. You can feel something being placed on your hands. And if you notice, all of a sudden you feel different. It's a different vibration in your physical hands. You can feel it. You can also ask them if there is something that would be for your highest and best good that they would like for you to be receiving at this time. So you can also go visit them without anything in particular and just ask them to receive the gifts of light of the highest and best for you, and what would be best. And then you can see if you can tell what they're gifting you with. So as you're feeling your hands, they're getting a little bit heavy, right? This is the part where you have to make the mental grasp. So this is the part where you mentally want to accept this gift. So we want to make sure that our mind is working with us on this, okay? And we want to integrate it within our physical body in whichever way that works for you. So a lot of times for me, it works to put it inside of my heart. So I just bring my hands cupped where I receive my gift, and I put them into my heart, okay? If it is something that has to do with your mind, you can put your hands directly on your head. Or if it's something that has to do, say, for example, you asked for help with making a baby and it's fertility is the gift, then you can put your hands on your belly. Or if it's a healing for your knees, you can put your hands directly on your knees. So wherever you feel like you will receive this gift is where you want to place it. And mentally feel it. Do your best to feel what that feels like, because our feelings are our vehicle for integration. So take a moment to feel it as deeply as you can. If you had right now that thing you're looking for, what does that feel like? As this is sinking into you, into your programming, into your cells. And you can imagine it as a color of light that's seeping into your skin. Every gift has a different frequency, has a different light. So depending on what you asked for, it may look like a different color that is going into every cell in your body. So see it expanding, taking it in, taking it in. And imagine, if you can picture your nervous system and all of your blood vessels, imagine that lighting up like a Christmas tree and just receiving, kind of like ding, 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 ding. Your cells are going, ooh, I like this. Yes, I'm taking in this program. Kind of like the systems are coming online. The systems are coming online. And then feel it. Do your best to feel it from your heart. Feel that feeling of the gift that you just received. Feel it. Feel it inside of you. Feel it here. You are absolutely safe. You are supported with the highest truth and light in this very moment. You can be exactly who you want to be, and you can feel exactly how you want to feel. And sometimes as you're feeling it, to make your physical body feel it and integrate it, it's almost like you pulse your muscles, I want to say, because you want to make it happen inside your body as you are mentally projecting your consciousness also on a higher realm. So we're doing work in two different planes here. We're accessing two planes at the same time. Well, one of them we live on, but we're conscious in both right now, which is really cool. And so we're going to stay here until we feel complete, until we feel like we've assimilated as much as we possibly can, and we have lit up our entire system. Every cell in our body is reprogramming, is regenerating. And then what starts to happen, and you can mentally start this, is you start seeing life from the perspective of having this gift. So what does it look like? What can you do now? Think of 2 or 3 tangible things that you can do now that you have received this gift. What is possible for you now with this gift? And remember to feel it with your breath. Keep staying with your breath and feel it. Whew, that feels so good. What is possible for you now? Okay, once you have locked on to something physical and something tangible, and you see it and you've experienced it and you feel satisfied with it, okay, then you're going to thank the council. And then this is where you would slowly make your way back down. But because we have an agenda today, we're going to take a slight little detour while we're up here. And it's going to be quick because we want to make sure that we bring this belief back down as we're fully conscious of it. But I just want you guys to see that in the back, behind where the council sits, there's a big room that is full of just insane amounts of books and wisdom and knowledge, and it feels like wisdom and it feels like knowledge. This is where you can go and ask for questions about your past life. This is where you can ask well, you can ask just about anything you want, but let's do this. Let's take a moment. We're gonna just leave our avatar of ourselves up there, okay? So we're gonna do this in 2 steps. So we're gonna leave a piece of our breath, a piece of our consciousness up there. We're gonna come back down, okay? So we're gonna breathe ourselves down. Imagine kind of like leaving a light version of you up there, and just be right back, okay? And then you trace back your steps, you go up the stairs, and you come down your chakra pillar elevator, and you're back in the room. Make a note, and this is why we're doing this. See if you can make a note very quickly with pen and paper, or on your phone or on your computer, however you're wanting to record it. I want to make sure that you don't forget the tangible ways that this gift is going to show up in your life. So the 3 ways, if you were able to get 3 or 1 or 2, 3 is best. It's always best because it really reinforces it in our subconscious. So take a moment and just write it down. What is tangibly possible for you now? And it's okay if it feels a little weird that you're kind of there, but you're kind of here. We're gonna go back and make it all work out, so don't worry. Okay. So just write down some keywords. That way you remember. Mostly you just want to make that connection that it was real. And then we're going to go back up. So when you're ready, let's take another breath. Close your eyes. And then we're just going to push with our breath, and we're going to go up, tracing ourselves back up. And notice how much faster this is, right? You just go up the elevator a whole lot faster, and boom, you are there. So you can imagine you're going up the chakra pillar, making it to the floor, dropping down 3 steps into this amazing, beautiful library, and you find the shell of you, the light, and you kind of just remerge with it, okay? So this is where you were. You kind of just put a placeholder up there that's a part of you. And then from here, you can ask questions. And I think a good question that we can ask, or you can ask a different one. So whichever question you have, I like doing one question at a time until you can really grasp and listen to the answers so that you get the hang of it. So you can ask information about your soul star origin if you'd like. If you want to ask the planet, the star system, the race, the origin, just take a moment and do that now. And you can just imagine yourself talking to, one, if it makes you more comfortable, or the entire council. And I suggest that you ask one-word answers so that you can really hear them. But you might be able to listen in for more. This is where you can also ask, how many lives have I had on this planet? If you want to take it a step further, you can ask if there's anything for your highest good that is available for you to know at this time. Any information that you might be able to receive right now. And when you do this, pay attention to any thoughts, any feelings, any smells, any sounds, anything that comes to your mind. You are feeling into this. You're a multisensory being. So when we're here, we listen in all the senses and then beyond the senses. So anything that comes up, feel into it. Use your feelings and use your intuition. And it's okay if nothing comes. Just feel how it feels. Just feel how it feels to be there. You can imagine that your mind is like a blank whiteboard. And you can even start asking for a letter. Or another easy way to do this is to ask yes or no questions, because it's a lot easier to feel if the answer is a yes or a no. So if there's something that you're doubting, you can ask in a way that the answer is yes or no. All right, take it all in. Take it all in while you're here. All the goodness, all the love, all the knowledge. It just smells like wisdom being here. We're automatically just a little smarter by accessing this amazing place. So let's thank the council. Thank you, guys, for receiving us. And you can access this place anytime on your own time. The only thing that could possibly be a side effect is if you ask for too many downloads and then you get really like physically overwhelmed with it. So you just want to do one thing at a time and integrate it. So thank you guys so much. And it's almost like they're giving energetic hugs. Feel the love, feel this connection, feel your presence being here, because once you've been somewhere, it's easier to come back. So you want to make sure you want to make sure that you have all of you back, okay? So before we leave, we're gonna go back in the very front room. So kind of right by the stairs, right? Imagine yourself in a big, bright room. And we're going to do a clearing to reintegrate pieces of our soul that have been scattered. So, and you can hold out your arms if you'd like, or just straighten your spine, however feels good for you. And then just repeat after me. I call all parts of myself back to myself in this present moment of right now, through time and space and planes of existences. I now send away everything that is not mine and everyone else's energy. With love and compassion, I won't carry it for anyone else any longer. I ask for protection, that I may freely walk my path. And with a grateful heart, I give my thanks. Take a deep breath in and hold it and exhale. And the council is honoring us for making the trip. Uriel and Michael are escorting us back out. We're going up the stairs. Goodbye. We're going up to the elevator, to our beautiful elevator of light. And while we're here, do you guys want to go up? Let's go up to the 13th floor. We might as well. We're up here. Let's go up one more floor. I feel like it's a good idea. We're going to go up one more floor. So breathe yourself up. Make that one jump. We're going to go meet up with our higher self and with Archangel Metatron. And can you see if you can feel into the frequency shift here. See if you can feel that difference of that one floor, that altitude shift. And you do this mentally. This is a mental command that you get there, that you land there. You're now at the 13th chakra and you're in 12D. And before we even get anywhere, I already start feeling like my fingers are disintegrating. I don't know if you guys are feeling it, but we're being welcomed. So take a moment to hang out with your higher self. We are here. Let's share the love. Look into your higher self's eyes and how much love they have for you. And what we're going to do is we're going to go over to the left and we're going to go, our higher self is going to take us for a dip into the sea of golden light, the infinite possibilities. And let's just imagine dipping into the ocean of love, infinite love and possibilities, where everything is available to us, where we have all the solutions, all of the good feelings, and just imagine completely blending and completely just becoming a part of this golden light. And notice that from this place, you and your higher self are one. You are one with the unconditional love of the creator, of Mother, Father, God, of the universe, of everything that is. So breathe it in, deep breaths. Everything is possible. Seep in every cell of your being, this beautiful golden light. Merge with it, be one with it. And then we're going to come back out and we're going to emerge back. We just wanted to take a quick dip to feel the love. And you can do this as many times as you want to. And then when your higher self brings you back up to your chakra elevator floor, notice that as they give you a hug, you can feel yourself merging in a little bit. You can feel like they kind of just blend in with you. Isn't that so cool? You're starting to share the same molecular makeup. You're starting to be able to have more light inhabit in your body. And this is something that has shifted since the lunar eclipse. You're able to just have that merging, to hold more of that light. And it just feels so good. And take a moment to just be with your higher self, to feel the connection, to feel the highly vibrational energy, the frequency. It kind of feels like it's zinging through like electricity, every cell in your body. Like, whee! Every cell is having a party. And then, when you're ready, we're going to come back down. So if there's any last words that you want to say or that your higher self wants to say, and sharing the love, they're going to tell you how proud they are of you, because you are doing amazing work. And we're going to connect with Archangel Metatron. He wants to make sure that we connect. He's going to spiral us down. So he's going to come down with us. We now have 3 escorts. We have Metatron, we have Archangel Michael, and we have Archangel Uriel. They're going to bring us back safely. So they're spinning us back so that we don't have to do the work, which is really nice. And we're just going to come back down through our chakra pillar, through our elevator. Breathing ourselves back into our body, coming down, bringing all the love, all the happy, all the high vibes with us. It's like we're getting them through just this magical injection of light that's coming in through our chakra pillar. And then breathe yourself back in through your crown chakra behind your eyes. Find yourself at your heartbeat, or you connect to your heartbeat. Breathe yourself down to your feet. Feel the connection with the light grid underneath your feet. And if you want to sync your heart back with the heartbeat at the Earth Gateway chakra, with Sandalphon, with the heartbeat of the earth and the universe. And come back up to your feet. And breathe back into your heart. And we're going to expand the frequency from our heart. So when you're at your heart, as you breathe out, expand it, expand it. Everything that we've brought down, all the light, feel it expanding into your physical body until you imagine being translucent. There is so much light that is expanding that you just brought back down from the higher realms that you are, if you were to look at your arms, you're like translucent under your skin. There's so much light. Ah, it feels amazing. Feels like we're lit up. And you can expand out from your heart in the sacred flower of life, sacred geometry, into a bubble, into a circular shape, expanding everything out into your aura, putting everything out into your aura so that your aura is strong, that you're strong from your chakra pillar out, and that you have created your own beautiful, strong, amazing, highly vibrational ecosystem where you can safely be you. You are true to you. You are integrated with your higher self and your soul. And you're true to who you are. And you emit your own frequency this way. Oh, it feels so good. Whew. When you're ready, rub your palms together. It's going to bring us kind of back. Take a deep breath. And we are back here. We are back here on our planet. Feeling good. Feeling recharged from this place. When you come back down, this is where you're in manifest mode. This is where you're charged. This is when you do this, you want to work on a project. You want to get your creative juices going. You want to start writing in your journal. This is the energy that we manifest from because we just brought down so much light with us. So when you want to really, truly be in tune with creating, and the more you open up your flow and the more you do this, the more it happens just as a natural state of being. So if you guys have any questions, you can type them. I'm going to open it up for questions and see. And we kind of covered this part that is part of our week 2. We kind of covered it last week, but if you guys have questions on this, on how to magnetize our aura for abundance, for love, for health, for wealth, for the things that we want. And so we really just want to bring those in the same way that we just reprogrammed that belief and that feeling. We do it the same way. So we bring it down from the top and then we expand it out. The more we can expand it, the more the universe can feel our frequency and can actually deliver what we are requesting. It's like we're beaming it out and the universe is going to deliver it. It's like a phone call. Okay. And if you're feeling a little bit like, whew, that was a lot. Okay. That was like a lot of light that I brought back down. That happens with downloads. So if you have a moment where you're like, oh, wow, I need to integrate. Okay. Drink more water. Himalayan salt is really good to make sure that you're staying hydrated, and just make sure that you actually have good sleep tonight so that you can integrate. It's always good to request something from the Akashic Records, from the Earth's Library of Knowledge at night, because if you have to do any syncing on a subconscious level, right, once you kind of feel like, oh, that was a lot of light, it feels really good, it feels really good, and then all of a sudden you feel like the download is actually sinking in, it may actually require you to have water or a little bit of rest. But generally it doesn't take very long because we're doing this in the higher frequencies, and so we're pulling it down and we're integrating it in through our higher channels. These are the things that for everybody else happen like 2x4s. So instead of doing it consciously, the frequencies of the planetary alignments kind of just blast these winds of frequencies and new energy and upgrades for people. And so people feel like they're constantly kind of going like this, oh my gosh, now I got to deal with this. Oh my gosh, now I got to deal with this. When we do this kind of work, we do it actively. So we decide we are in charge, we pull it down, and we integrate it, and we do so actively, and being conscious of what you're doing and doing it also in spirit, feeling it. Remember, the feelings and the breath is what activates it. It pulls it out into our aura, and then we become a magnet for it. So it seems simple, but there's work involved in it. So did that make sense? If you guys have questions, since we're on and we're just going to go over just a couple more minutes since we started a couple of minutes late, you can unmute and ask any questions. And if not, in this second module, you're going to have a separate meditation to access the Akashic Records so that you can go there specifically from that meditation and you can practice it and you can feel it out. And you can do it on your own time. And so this is really kind of the reprogramming that you want to be doing during the second week. And notice and ask for help from all of your angels, all of your archangels. They're there to help. They're always eager to assist. And the more you tune into them, the more you expand your energy, the more you'll be able to feel them and see the messages. You'll also see that in the portal now you have access to, I put together all of the angel numbers so that you can decode all of the messages that you're seeing. And then you now have all, for reference, all of the colors. So you have all of the colors that are listed. The archangels that we're working with during this higher chakras journey are highlighted, and there's more information for them. But the archangels that guard your physical within the body chakras also have references and information. So if you need help with that, they all work the same, okay? And there is a process in there's a process to connect with the angels and to give you some tips of how you can tune in and how you can receive. So you can reference that as well. Okay? I am excited for you guys to play up at the Akashic Records and see what awesome information you receive. Find out. Don't be scared to ask. The worst thing that's going to happen is that you may not hear the answer the first time, but I promise that you'll hear it. And it's really cool. So also make sure that you ask questions that you're prepared to hear the answers for. Because I have made that mistake and saying like, whoa, maybe I wasn't ready to hear that. They will not infringe your blueprint for this, for life. So if you had specifically given instructions as a soul prior to incarnating in this physical body to not tell me this, or, you know, stay within these boundaries, that they can't infringe on those. So they won't go beyond that, but they will give you the answers that are available to you at this time. So connect with them, and I hope you enjoy it, and I hope you have fun. And then if you have questions, I know it's kind of a lot and you guys are thinking and processing. So ask me any questions in the Facebook group, and I will see you in the Facebook group, and I'll see you next week. I am thinking I'm going to announce this in the Facebook group that we can just have an additional Zoom session for Q&A. And so we'll see a time that works for everybody. That way we can just kind of chat and see if there's questions that are best answered live, and that would be fun. And we'll just see how it works at this group. Okay? I love you guys so much. I am so proud. You're all doing such an amazing job, such amazing work. Stay on your affirmations. Remember to do your morning manifesting routine. That makes all the difference in the work, in the world, and in the work that you do every day. So if you can get it in the morning, it really shifts your day. And the more you do it, the more becomes a part of you and the higher you can go with it. So I love you guys, and I will see you in the group. Mwah, so much love.